This is about Baltimore. This is about me building systems that will save lives so that young boys and girls don't have to live through what I lived through. 15%.
Welcome back, everybody. That is Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott. He is the face of the Body Politic, one of the many films featured in the Milwaukee Film Festival. This one centers around the work he's doing to put an end to chronic violence in his city. Unfortunately, we here in Milwaukee understand that as well, but there are people in both of those communities working tirelessly to disrupt the violence. One of those groups is the Medical College of Wisconsin's 414 Life. They support those impacted by gun violence and try to stop violence from escalating.
And this afternoon, we are joined live by Reggie Moore with MCW and Erricka Bridgeford, co-founder of the Baltimore Peace Movement. And they are both here to talk about the documentary, which will be showing at the Milwaukee Film Festival for the first time tonight. And there will be a panel discussion. So thank you both for being here. Reggie, let's start with you. You're going to be moderating that panel. And for people who go to see this documentary, what do you think the lessons that they will take away from what's happening in Baltimore?
Right. I've been a fan of Mayor Brandon Scott for quite some time, and our 414 Life program is actually modeled after the Safe Streets model in Baltimore. And the thing that really inspires me about this movie is that it is an example of what it means to be a civil leader who's actually putting peace over politics. And we understand that this issue is deeply personal. I know in our city, we are all grieving the loss of Sade Robinson, and my heart goes out to her family. And understanding when violence happens in any part of this country or world, we're all impacted by it. But it's really important to have leaders who are willing to call for prevention as well as enforcement and accountability. And so doing everything possible to prevent harm on the front end is critically important. And I think Mayor Scott has been a national example of that.
Erricka, these are two different cities, two distinct situations. What's universal between Milwaukee, Baltimore, and any other mid-sized, mid-American city that's dealing with the same issues?
Yeah, so what's universal is there are systems of oppression and violence all around America. And so when you look at a majority Black and brown communities, you're going to find very similar struggles, very similar pain, very similar work, very similar joy, very similar healing. And so the work that the people on the ground in Milwaukee are doing is very much like the work we're doing in Baltimore, and it all supports one another because we're all raising the vibration of our people.
Erricka, this documentary you were telling us has been shown really around the world. Is there a common theme or reaction that you've been receiving from people who have
My
watched
favorite common theme is that it shifts people's perspectives about my city and cities like Baltimore and the struggles that we have. It explains to people that we're not just The Wire or whatever they think about Baltimore, whatever they've only seen on the news in Baltimore about Baltimore. And it also shifts the perspective of anti-violence workers and healers around the country, and really emphasizes how much support and how we need to be pouring our resources into that work.
Be interested to get your take on this, Erricka. We talked about this with Reggie before. So much of the violence we see in Milwaukee is young people with attitudes and guns. And the attitude comes out first and the gun comes out second, and the next thing you know, somebody's shot and laying on the ground. How do you get in between those kids and those attitudes so they don't think that the first instinct is, I'm going to have a gun in my waistband, pull it out and shoot the person who says my name wrong?
Well, the first thing you have to do is understand that they were not born that way. They were created and nurtured to be that way, right? That there's brain science behind the way people are oppressed, and it intentionally creates that very reaction. And so you have to address people who are victims of that system and now acting out in that way as humans. You have to nurture their humanity. You have to nurture their well-being and do things intentionally to show them how much they matter and that their greatness is a real thing in the world, and nurture that.
A lot of things to think about. Best of luck with the showing of the documentary. If you want to watch it, it's tonight at 6 o'clock at the Downer Theater. And
got little cheat sheets here for the Body Politic.
And then on Sunday at 9 o'clock at the Times Cinema, and then Thursday the 25th at noon at Times Cinema as well.
Reggie, Erricka, thank you both for joining us.
Thank you for having us.